I got to blame this loss on J.J. Redick.
J.J. Redick is the poison. 3-1.
Yeah.
They lose on Sunday, close game, but they don't get it done. And just your first thoughts, and then I'll get into what I want to.
Well, I mean, shoot, there's a lot of thoughts that I have. The thing that's disappointing, you want to kind of say, what's the blame? To me, it's like a buffet, Rob. Think about when Big Mama would make her best meals.
I know what I'm eating when the time comes and it's time for me to make my plate.
Yeah, you know what it is. And so there's a few people who can come get some of this buffet real quick. First and foremost, I'm going to start with JJ. JJ was treating this like an AAU game on the weekend. And I'm referring to the fact that the first team in NBA playoff history, it's the first time a team has ever played the same 5 players for a whole half, referring to that second half. Mind you, one of the players is 40-something years old. Mind you, the other player was just coming off some type of illness where he said, I literally had to sleep all day the night before. I had to sleep the entire day to get better. So those are the 2 guys that are playing these 46 minutes. But those are your superstars. You kind of don't have a choice in the sense that they have to play. But to me, what he didn't do was allow for those magical moments. If I brought up to you Matthew Dellavedova, you would say, well, who was that prior to those finals in 2015 when he finally was getting in the game, chasing around Steph, hacking Steph, pulling Steph jersey, and at least making it hard on Steph? They would ultimately lose the series, but Matthew Dellavedova made a name for himself because of that. Tyronn Lue, you never heard of him. He was chasing around Allen Iverson, pulling on Allen Iverson, making it hard on Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson still got points, but then you go, remember that game when Tyronn Lue had a moment? My point is, this could have been a Gabe Vincent comes in the second half, only plays 8 minutes, but hit 2 or 3 huge threes. This is when Vanderbilt, everybody was saying, man, if Vando was better healthy last postseason, they'd have been all right. Well, he's healthy. You telling me Vanderbilt couldn't run around and just hack, push around, shove, muck up the game a little bit on Anthony Edwards, who drops 43 in your head? So missed opportunities to have some role players have a moment in that second half there. So I was disappointed to see that. And Jackson Hayes, even if he's just in the game being 6'11", 7 foot, he could have gave you 3 or 4 minutes. You needed that, and that's part of that as well.
I'm not blaming Luka. I'm not blaming LeBron.
Hold on, wait.
You heard what I said.
Alex,
There's nothing wrong with this mic. I'm telling you.
Okay, because I don't know what.
I am blaming J.J. Redick from top to bottom.
Okay.
This is coaching. When your star player, LeBron gets no points, and you give up a lead in the fourth quarter because these guys have played all these minutes, you already mentioned it. He's supposed to be the genius. We can't wait to get rid of Darvin Ham. Guess what? Darvin Ham, when they went to the Western Conference Finals, what were they, 6 seed? They weren't a 3 seed. Mm-hmm. They didn't get knocked out in the first round, and that's what the Lakers are on the brink. He did not. There's a reason there are subs in basketball. You play basketball. There's a reason. There's a reason that everybody doesn't have 5, just 5 play. We just need our best 5. There's a reason for that. And no coach had done this since 1997. Mm-hmm. He left himself open for criticism, and rightfully so. J.J. Redick is the poison. He is the reason the Lakers are where they are. You can't do it to a 40-year-old. It's nice for LeBron to cover for him and say, oh, it had nothing to do with fatigue. Really? Really? And Luka, we talk about all the time, coming off of illness, 25 with a 35-year-old body. Really? That's the guy you want playing the entire second half? Come on, man. No way, no how. And all you guys wanted to crown J.J. Redick and give him credit. Oh, my God, what a difference between him. Oh, you can see once you have a coach. Really? And you talked about it. They haven't been able to close out the games. Yeah, that's coaching.
Granted, on Friday night, I know Luka was sick, and he was not himself. But that all the more reason why J.J. Redick's decision-making in the second half of this game is just, he coached this game like it was game 7 of the finals.
Yeah.
Not like it was, game 4 of the first round.
Well, the most remarkable thing was him saying they decided this in the locker room at halftime. Like, I'm sorry, if Tom Thibodeau did this and didn't pull a one starter the entire second half, the entire city of New York would have pitchforks out and would be coming for him. right? It would be the biggest story going. Like, I'm sorry. I understand in part what he's thinking. The Lakers roster is not good, all right? It's the reason I picked Minnesota to win the series. They're the deeper, better team outside their top couple of guys. However, the Lakers are up by 10 at the end of the third quarter. You've got LeBron James at 40 years old on a 36-hour turnaround. You've got Luka Doncic, who's coming off having food poisoning and thrown up in the locker room and need to come out late to start the second half on Friday. You cannot play those guys the entire second half without any break. Play Gabe Vincent for a couple minutes. Play Jared Vanderbilt for a couple minutes. Play Jordan Goodwin for a couple minutes. I'm not saying they got to play 20 minutes, but you got to give these guys a break, especially when you're up. It's one thing if they're down 10, and if you're going to go down 3-1, the season's probably over, and you got 2 days off after. So yeah, let's just throw the kitchen sink at it and go for it. In this situation, the Lakers had a dominant third quarter. They had the lead. You have to give these guys a break. And you could see as the fourth quarter went along, I thought Chris Finch played it perfectly. He brings in Naz Reid with 5 minutes to go. Naz Reid immediately gets 5 points, has a ton more energy than everybody on the court. Then he brings in Dante DiVincenzo. He has a ton of energy. He's flying around making plays. And yes, the 3 guys on Minnesota's bench, Nickeil Alexander-Walker and those 2 dudes, would be the 4th or 3rd best player on the Lakers. So that's inherently JJ's problem here. But at the same time, you have to try to play a couple other guys a little bit. This has never happened since 1988. You just cannot do that in this game.
I will say there were 6 players who played all 24 minutes in the second half. Ant was the 6th.
Quarter lead, JJ Redick has been getting a lot of criticism because he did not bench anyone, did not give anyone a rest in the entire second half. Our Kendrick Perkins watched that and then yesterday said this.
JJ, you mean to tell me the time that you went up 10 points that you couldn't find time to rest those guys and get those guys a breather? And you're going against a young athletic squad in the Minnesota Timberwolves who are a bunch of dogs? When it comes down to LeBron James, a guy that you need the most, especially towards the end of the game when it comes by possession, and you don't get the best out of him because you overextended his minutes, I got to blame this loss on JJ Redick.
So it seems everybody is blaming JJ Redick for the Lakers to be eliminated. But it seems like there's probably more to it. All right, we can blame the rotation, blame the fact that for the first time in NBA history, he used the same players to play in the second half of a game, including a player that was injured or had a stomach flu in Luka Doncic the previous game. They said the guys had to sleep all day, and then you play him the whole second half. All right, that definitely ridiculous. Right, definitely ridiculous. And then a 40-year-old man in LeBron James, same age as me. Do I think I can go the second half of a game? All right, I'm not LeBron James. Sure, not in his condition right now and either. But I don't know. Going up against 23-year-old Anthony Edwards, I don't think this makes sense at all. All right, so I believe JJ Redick, he needs to take the lion's share of this blame. All right, I don't know who else would take it because you really put the odds against you, right, leaving these guys in, and it showed, in the fourth quarter. All right, however, all right, I remember last year, right, when the Lakers had Anthony Davis and Lakers had Darvin Ham, and for like 3 games, the Lakers were up. And then came the fourth quarter. And what would happen? Disappearance of LeBron. Disappearance of Anthony Davis. Well, I think Anthony Davis started before the fourth quarter. They didn't stop feeding him. All right. But the same thing happened. They had leads going into the fourth quarter. I don't remember how many games it was in the series, but they had a number of leads. And those leads just disappeared like magic, just like the lead on Sunday. All right, and I was watching it with a friend, and I saw the shift. I felt the shift, as a matter of fact. I don't know if this is just the energy of LeBron. Like once it gets to a crucial part of the game, once it gets to a part where if you don't, do exactly what's needed to be done, you'll be eliminated. I don't know if this, if LeBron's energy just shifts or whatever, but I felt it. I saw it because I saw the score come down. I saw it go down to 9. It went up, I think, to 11, and then it came back down. And, I asked somebody to score at one point, and I heard it was like 8, and I was like, okay, I know that this game is going to the wire, and I know the Lakers are going to lose, just because it's just one of those kind of games. All right, but I said that, but last year the same thing was occurring, and there was no JJ Redick, and there was no Luka. Right, I saw Luka finish off games last year. All right, and I saw the Lakers blow games. I remember Jamal Murray hitting that shot over AD to win the game. That was last year. The Lakers had a lead in that game, right? Lakers had a lead in a ton of the games. And, the common denominator here, unfortunately, is LeBron James, right? And we see on the scoreboard that in the past 2 games, he scored 0 points. Same points that I scored, all right, in the fourth quarter. So I don't know if I want to put all the blame on JJ Redick, all right? But you got to put some blame there on LeBron James. You have to. As a leader, all right, we're going to say he was tired last game, sure. But what about the previous one? You got to add more than 0 points. You got to do more than that. All right, all the stats is good when you're up. All the stats is good when it's tied. All the stats is good when it's the first or second quarter and it's not really determining anything. Right, but when it comes to those crucial times, crucial moments, that's when you got to show up, and that's when Kobe showed up. That's when Jordan showed up, and they weren't laughing ha 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 when you're down against teammates or against the opponent. This all comes into play, the mentality. So if the Lakers need to win, if the Lakers are going to win, LeBron has to show up in the fourth quarter. All right, when you look at it, you go back even to 2011. Look at the second half. LeBron James 4 points, all kind of crazy 0 points. This is a pattern in his career. All right, so I'm not blaming JJ Redick. I'm not blaming Luka neither. All right, but I'm gonna put most of the blame, maybe 70%, on LeBron James. He needs to do something more than just passing to AR or passing to Dorian Finney-Smith. He has to be the change that the team needs. He has to be instrumental in leading the team. All right, so that's about it. So until next.